I am against eliminating the Montessori program. I am not satisfied with the $15 per $100,000 home tax increase. If you could cut that in half, I may consider it. Again, I would like to mention to the taxpayers and residents of Mill Creek Township that Social Security recipients have not received anything of any substantial amount. I think it was 5 or 6 years ago that they received 3.1% increase in their Social Security check on a monthly basis. In addition, Medicare, those individuals are increasing their premiums. This all has to be taken into consideration. If the only years that I believe that were not taxed was 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, and I don't know what happened in 9, 10. When Mr. Goldie came in 2009, there were no tax increases. So after that, there were substantial increases in taxes. So if you say that you have a surplus for a balance of 2.6 or 4.1 million, that was due to the tax increases. Now, I have asked several times, and my documents prove it, when you're looking at staffing, which I've brought up numerous times, how do you justify someone, for instance, the director of operations? It's $120,000 a year plus benefits. For what? What is the responsibility? What is the responsibility? And I've already contacted a couple of other school districts.
Mr. Aliota? Mr. Aliota?
Yeah.
Could I interrupt, please? If we're going to get into personnel, I don't think we want to go there at this point.
Well, we're talking about money, and we're talking about personnel, right?
You're talking about job description, as I heard it, but if we could,
Okay.
if we could move on from there, please.
So I think what I heard Mr. Aliota say, he would be comfortable cutting this in half, which means I don't know where the other revenue's coming from, if I'm following him. If we cut the $1 million in half, that's $500,000. Where's the other $500,000 coming from?
If I could respond to Mr. Aliota. Lou, this is Ben Pike. How do we handle the pension increase every year? I mean, those are costs that we have to pay, as well as increased in salaries. We have those expenses. We need to offset that by some type of revenue, and the revenue that we're going to get, because of the way tax, well, where we originate our revenue from is going to come from property owners. We don't get that much from the state. We don't get as much from the federal government as, let's say, the city of Erie does. It's on property owners. So to not increase taxes, much like Mr. Hall says, where are you going to get the rest of the revenue?
I think that's what the legislature is trying to do right now.
Yeah, but we can't bank on that. We have to do.
We have a deadline with those legislators.
Yeah, they can do anything they want to. They can write their own law as they go. We can't.
And last week, Mr. Aliota, you told us not to count on that money. You said you met with 3 legislators downstate. You said it wasn't coming.
That's right, and you should not put the burden on the taxpayers, period.
We have to.
What,
Find the money, you could find the money. I I would like to make a motion to, and can I make a motion, Mr. De Placido?
You're a board member.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to put up an RFP for legal services within the next 30 days. Do I have a second?
I'll second
An
that.
RFP for legal services
I'll second that.
in 17.
Okay, Mr. Kadokas seconded it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion defeated.
So getting back to the budget,
Yeah.
if I may.
Bill, I guess I'm still, the numbers on the bottom reflect the optimistic, aggressive, whatever the heck you want to call it.
Right here?
But it's not founded on any financial thing other than a better guess, right? Based on what we know today versus what we know in the past. So if that doesn't come to be, if that 928, or the other one, I should say, the 648, if we don't get the $800,000, we're 2,000 in the hole already. So what would our plan be to come out of that if we approve that?
What?
Did I say it right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I've got a question, and I'm gonna work off the March 1st numbers that you gave us, that were the conservative numbers, we only had 3
Yes,
options.
Yes.
That was, when you looked back then, working off a more conservative budget, we came up with only 188,000 surplus using option 2.
Correct.
We were in the hole with option 1 and option 3, even with all of those cuts. So I mean, 188,000, looking at option 2, to 928,000. That's a huge difference, and it seems like some of that is speculative. So I'm still, I'm looking at it conservatively with the old numbers. They might be old, but they were conservative. And I think that puts us on, if we get more, great, but if we don't have more, I don't want to be in the hole. We'll never climb out of it.
Yeah, that change from that to that is about $800,000, and it is a little more aggressive.
I understand that.
But is that based on a percentage of collection? Because that's going on some kind of data that we have, right? You're not just making these numbers up.
Well, what we had the budget that was passed between here and here, where we got the information about our budget. So
But we still don't definitely
still
know
don't
how
know.
much.
I understand that,
With the-
I understand that.
It would be in relation to the earned income tax and the real estate transfer tax, that is getting aggressive. And we have 2 years of data which do support that. But prior to those 2 years, when you look at trending it, prior to those 2 years, yeah, you're right, it is very aggressive. In relation to the state budget, yeah, it does take into account that there'd be additional funds coming, for which we have no idea whether that will happen, as well as we don't know how it will even be allocated. The Ready to Learn grant was the big one, where we had budgeted historically $250,000, where in the past couple of years, it was about 215 roughly that they were giving out, and then the last 2 years, yeah, we've received over 600,000. So we did get a little aggressive to budget that at about 600,000 for the Ready to Learn grant. And you're right, I would want to move back our basic ed subsidy a little bit. I would like to move back each one of the I think we could be a little bit more aggressive, but to the tune of where we were. I do think that is extreme as well. Again, that's with our options. Because our data is starting to show that our real estate transfer